Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'll be showing you how I make the labels for my sample soaps. Today I'll be doing Lavender Baby. So I have two sizes, a smaller sample bar and a larger sample bar. I'll be designing the labels for the smaller bar because the small labels will fit on the large bar, but not the other way around. I'll start by placing the sample bar on a piece of paper and getting my pen and marking out the dimensions based on the actual size of the bar. So that's the front, this will be the sleeve, and this will be the back of the sample bar. Now I'm just going to get my ruler and start to draw the lines for the dimensions of the measured bar of soap. So that's going to be the width, and this is going to be the height. And then now I'm measuring the sleeve of the bar of soap, which is where I want my website domain name to go. So I'll start by just making sure that it's lining up. And then I actually want to show a little bit of the bar. So I will maybe take a millimeter or two off of the side of the actual dimensions of the soap. So I'm just making my marks here. So now I'm going to label the front of the soap with my logo at the top, and then the name of the soap, and then actually label it as a soap for FDA reasons. And then I'm going to turn it the other way so that the website will be opposite of the front label. And I'm probably going to trim a little bit more off of the sides, and it doesn't matter if I cut this off, cut the text off, because so here I'm writing the ingredients as well on the back of the label. It doesn't matter if I cut it off because I can arrange all of that once I put it into Photoshop. So now I'm just gonna start cutting the label out now. And then once I cut it out, yeah, I'm already looking at it like, okay, maybe I need to cut a little bit off the side. So let me go ahead and trim a little bit of that off. And I didn't show it in this video, but I did actually measure this out with a ruler. As you can see here, it's a little bit still too long, so I want to go ahead and trim off the sides a little more. So see how it's covering the whole bar of soap? I still want a little bit to show through the wrapping, and it looks like I need to trim a little bit more off, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. It's really important to try to design this before you actually put it in a program and print it out, because you don't want to waste any ink or paper. So that looks about right. That's the front of the bar, and that's the ingredients on the back of the bar. So now what I want to do is show you how I put all of these things into Photoshop so I can print it out for my design. So here I am in Photoshop. I'm just going to start a new document. And the dimensions are 2.3 by 2.1. And I want to have it at a 300 resolution so there's no fuzziness once it prints out. So that's the square measurement and the dimensions. And I want to start making my layers and labeling them as the front, the back, and the sleeve. So I'm just going to grab my marquee tool, and you can see the width and height dimensions on there, so I'm going to try to get it as close as possible to the measurements from the ruler. So I'm going to select a color so that I can see where I am. You can also use a ruler for this to mark the lines, horizontal and vertical. But I find it easy for me to just create a colored square so that I can stay within the proximity of where it is that I'm typing. So I'm just going to copy that and drag it down so that they're both even in size. And then I'm creating a background color for the sleeve. It doesn't matter what colors you use. I'm just going with a white label. I don't want to be too fancy on the sample bar. So I try to use the least amount of ink as possible. So I'm going to pick just like a pink or something, and then go ahead and fill it in. So now I'm actually going into my files to get my logo, which I want to display across the front of the sample bar of soap. And I always forget which one it is, and I think it's, yeah, that one. So I'm just going to copy that logo and paste it into my document, and then shrink it to the size that I need. I want to make it like a close to black, like a dark purple. And that font is way too big, so I'm gonna go ahead and take that down to a reasonable font size. And I like to stay within the same sort of font style and font type, so I'm gonna type it out here, but I'm gonna change the font type to Champagne Limousine. And then I'm going to tweak the line spacing and the font size so that it's more readable. I think that looks good, but I'm gonna make some adjustments here and make it bold. I'm gonna resize my logo a little bit. And I didn't show it in the video, but I noticed that the top of my logo is touching right at the line, so later on I did actually move that logo down just a tad so it's not riding right on the crease of the label. So here I'm just putting in my ingredients. And again, I'm sticking with the same font style. And depending on how much ingredients you have in your product, you may have to mess around with the font size a little bit. There are some FDA standards to this, but it's a sample bar, so I'm really not that concerned about it at this point. I'm just gonna take out that space there and then change my ingredients to say bold. And then give it a black font color. So it took me a little while to adjust that, so I just kind of fast forwarded through the video a little bit till I got it where I wanted it to be. And now the last thing I want to do is put in my website. And readjust the font size to make it more readable. And I'll make it bold. Or not. I think it looks fine like that. So next I want to flip the ingredients upside down, because when you actually are holding the bar and you're turning it, it's just a better look. I've learned that through trial and error. And then I just removed all of the color. So now I'm going to save it as this white label to my folder. I'm just gonna speed past all of this because it's kind of a long process. I have a lot of files and folders, so I'm gonna save it there, and then I'm gonna go ahead and create a new document, a 8 by 11, which is just the standard page paper size, copy paper size. And then I'm going to copy my label, close my logo out, I don't need that anymore, and then start pasting in a number of however many I can fit on this one sheet of paper. So I'm just gonna make a copy of that label, giving my layers a name, and then I'm going to move it over, copy it again, move it over, and then I'll copy all 3 of these and start to move them down on the page until I fill the entire page with all of the labels that I can fit on there. So now I'll just start cutting out my labels.